Oil prices, WTI crude 39.21, Brent crude 41.15. I want to talk about what the Aramco CEO says regarding the worst is over for the oil and gas industry. I also want to talk about production and also the demand for oil and gas. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. I've been investing in oil for the last 26 years. I'm not a journalist, but I don't have an agenda behind this oil and gas industry like so many. And if you like this channel, please subscribe to my channel. Aramco CEO says the worst is over for oil. Okay, currently global oil demand is somewhere around 90 million barrels a day. I said that the demand for oil will come back much faster than anticipated. In fact, there are people saying that oil demand will drop down to 30, 40 million barrels a day. Well, of course, the Democrats are pushing the agenda that we don't need fossil fuels anymore. And if they could push the agenda saying that COVID-19 is going to destroy demand, Tesla is going to take over and replace gas-powered cars, that causes people to transition from fossil fuels to renewable, okay? But turns out, so far from the truth, and that's what I've been preaching. And here we go. Recovery in oil demand will depend on whether there will be a second wave. Look, I'm so tired of this COVID-19 and how they use the COVID-19 as a way to make you believe that the demand for fossil fuels is going to be destroyed. The first wave didn't destroy the demand for fossil fuels. I mean, it temporarily dropped it down to 80 million a day, which everybody said that it was going to drop down to a much lower number. And so if the first wave didn't affect the demand, I don't think the second wave will either. I mean, most of these people that are talking about this COVID-19 is a bunch of young people, and they're driving anyways. They don't care. I mean, they preach it, but they don't actually live it, okay? But anyways, everybody's tired of it. Everyone's ready to go back to business. Everyone wants to take their family out to eat. Let's talk about oil production. So, I want you to understand, okay? I want you to understand why I talk about shale oil and gas so much. Shale is an actual formation. It's not a company, okay? It's not Shell. It's the shale oil and gas structure deep in the Earth's surface that was not able to extract a drop of oil from it up until fracking technology. Fracking takes a very tight, low porosity structure and breaks it up to where it will allow you to actually extract oil. Okay, and so fracking really didn't kick in until 2012. Okay, so as you can see here, production skyrockets from 2012. Well, this is all shale, okay, from the 80s, which this record only goes back to the 80s. We've been developing oil much longer than that. But from 1983, 8.6 million a day, and then we started dropping, okay? And the reason why we were dropping was quite simply the oil and gas industry was shrinking due to the fact that we weren't finding very big discoveries anymore. Okay, now the reason why we skyrocketed here was because the shale oil and gas boom, they call it the shale revolution, was funded by banks, and they were spending billions and billions of dollars developing an oil and gas play that was not even economical. In fact, they studied 35 companies over a 10-year span, and they ended up losing $85 billion. In other words, they would have had $85 billion more hadn't they drilled a thing, okay? Now, all of this growth, you think, wow, that's a lot of growth. I can't believe how much it's producing. Well, listen, this is from new wells, okay? If you drill a well in 2012, that same well isn't pumping these numbers up because the shale structure, the shale formation has a short lifespan. The decline curve is massive. If you artificially stimulate a structure to get oil from it, that artificial stimulation does not last for more than a couple years, okay? And the decline curve, if that whale's doing 1,000 barrels a day, just in a few short months, it's going to drop down to 20 or 30 barrels a day. The conventional oil well lasts for years because it's a very small stimulation, and it's already naturally porous. It already has natural fractures in the formation, okay? But the problem is there's not enough conventional oil. Conventional oil is profitable at $20 oil per barrel. Right now we're at 40. Break even for a shale oil and gas well is $60 a barrel. That's the break even point. So they're losing $20 per barrel right now. Every barrel they produce are losing $20. The shale oil and gas industry is being destroyed. So understanding decline curve is massive. And the only reason why these numbers are so pumped up is because they're drilling so much money, spending all that easy to get to money from banks. Well, all the banks stop lending to the oil and gas industry. The renewable agenda is destroying the idea that fossil fuels is a good investment. The agenda behind the Democrats has destroyed the idea of ever investing in oil and gas. So the agenda is causing a major, across the globe, oil divestment. Nobody's investing in fossil fuels. That's number one. Number two, the COVID-19 and all the lies behind it destroyed the oil and gas industry, okay? The demand, everything else. The other major issue is the fact that the shale oil and gas industry has lost so much money. It has given the whole world a bad taste in their mouth regarding oil. Now, first off, what you're seeing in the news about the oil and gas industry is not the truth, okay? It's the truth about U.S. American shale, which is the most expensive barrel of oil to produce. That is true. But it's not true about conventional oil. Conventional oil, you could produce a barrel of oil for a fraction of what it costs to produce a shale barrel, quite simply because we're spending a fraction of the price to extract it. We don't have to use specialized expensive fracks to go after the oil. You do a traditional conventional oil well and you're producing oil, okay? So there's a major divestment in the oil and gas industry. So production destruction is cataclysmic for the oil and gas industry. And as you can see here, we went from producing 13,100,000 barrels a day in February to see if I can get it on here, to 11 million a day in June, okay? 11, 12, 13. That's 2 million barrels a day decline, and it's only going to continue. The only reason why it hasn't dropped any faster is because a lot of these shale companies were waiting for higher oil prices to bring the wells online, okay? But don't mistake that for increased output or increased oil and gas drilling activity. Look, those wells were just sitting there waiting to be completed, but they pulled their crew off to wait for prices to come back after the COVID-19. So bottom line, this number is going to drop and continue to drop. And here's the thing you need to understand. The oil and gas industry is not going to come back even if we hit $80 a barrel. I'll tell you why. Because right now, there is not any other opportunity other than shale oil and gas. Otherwise, Chevron, British Petroleum, Pioneer, all the majors would have gone after a structure that was more economically feasible. But the problem is there's nothing. Where else are they going to go? They built themselves up to a level to where there's not enough. They got to feed the beast. They don't have anything. Okay, not only that. The banks are not lending anymore. If oil prices come back to $100 a barrel and a shale company goes to the bank and say, hey, $100 oil, send me a check. Hey, I already learned my lesson. I'm not stupid, okay? They're done, okay? Then you got the Democrats. You got the election coming up. There is a major onslaught war against the fossil fuel industry. They have painted the oil and gas industry as evil. They had set the stage for if you invest in fossil fuels, you don't care about the planet because global warming is destroying the world and it's all because of fossil fuels. Then you got the other side if you invest in renewable energy, you're saving the planet. I mean, it has caused a major divide. COVID-19 news is destroying investor confidence in the oil and gas sector. So production destruction is setting the stage, the groundwork for we're on a collision course for not having enough oil to meet with demand. And we're at 90 million barrels a day. And Russia, Saudi Arabia, Libya, the Middle East, OPEC Plus, their goal is to destroy the shale oil and gas industry, and they are doing a good job of it. So you got Russia, you got Saudi Arabia, you got OPEC, you got Biden, you got the Clintons, you got the Democrats, you got Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, every Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, Obama, all of them are coming against the fossil fuel industry. Why? Because it's Donald Trump's industry. That's why. That's why. It's that simple, guys. So, first off, renewable energy, you can't replace fossil fuels. You don't have the technology. If you don't believe it, watch the documentary Planet of the Humans. We don't have the ability to harness the sun. Solar power panels, we've come a long ways. There's probably, if we built enough solar power panels to cover 25% of the earth, it would have enough energy to power the grid. This is true. Yes. But the problem is, what happens when the sun goes down? You don't have any energy. Well, Sean, that's what batteries are for. Okay. Well, the main battery that is being utilized today is from a source called lithium. Lithium is mined from the ground just like fossil fuels. It's non-renewable, okay? And here's the thing. Lithium batteries is in every single technology. Cell phones. If you think that using lithium batteries on a mass scale isn't going to create a demand for this precious material and not increase the price. See, the problem is on a small scale, it is inexpensive energy. But on a larger scale, if we just use it in Texas, Wyoming, California, at that scale, it would cause the lithium prices to skyrocket to the point to where people can't afford to pay their light bill. Okay? Imagine all of America. Imagine all of India. Imagine all of China replacing fossil fuels with we can't afford it, guys. We have built this world on fossil fuels. We have multiplied. There are countless cities, and all these cities have electricity that they are utilizing. Every home. We all have our televisions. We all have our laptops and desktops, and we are consuming as a world more energy than ever before. And you expect what took us 100 years to develop overnight, replacing it with renewable energy, a tech that isn't even ready yet. and you guys are trying to cross a bridge that hasn't been invented yet. It's unbelievable. So we're at 90 million barrel a day demand right now. Production is being destroyed right now. We're on a collision course for triple digit oil, because when demand increases and supply decreases, you're setting the stage for triple digit oil. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. If you like these videos, please subscribe. We'll talk soon. Thank you.